Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. Got Justin Wells and Coach Dub with me again on Tuesday. We're looking forward instead of back at this point. But make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure if you're listening on podcast to give us a 5-star rating and leave a review. Head to Inside Texas, use promo code IT1, get 2 months of Inside Texas for just $1. And like I said, we're looking forward. Yesterday, we looked back at some of the official visitors who were in town on June 14th through 16th. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the guys making their way to campus as early as today on Tuesday. Justin, we had some midweek official visitor questions yesterday in our live, and it is a little bit different, but sometimes it just works out that way, whether it be family vacation or, the fact that you can take more than 5 official visits now to 5 different schools. Sometimes it just works out that way, and they have some big defensive backs as it happens coming in this week, starting today on Tuesday.
Yeah, the main three, Dijon Lee, Dorian Brew, and Nathan Tilmon, these are guys, sometimes the schedule just works out better during the week. For a lot of these other official visitors, for the weekend guys, those things were planned out before. These were more of a little impromptu type deal. With Dijon Lee, we didn't know exactly if he was going to make it or not. We still don't know for sure. He's scheduled to, but that's why it was a midweek in some instances, because he didn't have a weekend nailed down yet. Tilmon, being SMU commit, that's a kid that's they just got in the mix with him 3 weeks ago, and so didn't have anything like planned out. But the midweek stuff, listen, you get more one-on-one there. You get just as much of attention. You may not have a Lamborghini outside of Moncrief, but you get as much attention, if not more, and you get a lot of questions answered. And I think with these 3 DBs, they're so intriguing, and they're all different in different facets. Each recruitment is unique, and so bringing them in during the week, I think we'll get clarity on just where Texas stands with all these guys just by the fact that they are doing midweeks.
So Dijon Lee and Dorian Brew are both top 40, maybe even top 30, like 5-star defensive backs. Dijon Lee, Justin, he's kind of been all around the country. He made a Texas swing last week, checking out Texas A&M. What do you see with him? We've mentioned before that he visited Texas basically a couple of years ago, waited, and now he's back here for his official visit. Where do you think the Longhorns are fitting in his picture?
That is really hard to tell. I hung out with him a little bit in Nashville at the On3 Elite Series, and he's a fun kid. I reached out when he had scheduled the OV, and I said, "Man, when's the last time you've been in Austin?" He said, "Man, it's been almost 2 years. I think it was like 18 months." And so, talk about reviving a recruitment from the dead. That's what it kind of feels like. I think Texas is playing catch up here, simply because they just haven't had a lot of focus on Dijon. And he is a really good-looking DB. He's like 6'3", 190 pounds. Like, he looks fantastic. I don't know where Texas stands here. I think Georgia and Alabama are still the 2 lead dogs. He loves the idea of playing in the SEC. He loves the idea of those 2 programs. Hey, this feels like a courtesy visit in some ways. And also, don't forget, even if a kid's not going to attend Texas, taking these OVs to Austin are fun. They are a lot of fun. And if you think if you don't think you're making headway with a recruit, listen, don't get it twisted. They're having fun. They may not come to Texas, but they're going to take full advantage of that Texas official visit. And so I think that's kind of where Dijon Lee is. He just wants to have a good time and enjoy himself, and he's earned that.
Keep it going with another very highly rated recruit. I looked it up. Dijon Lee's number 30 in the On3 industry ranking. Dorian Brew is number 29. He's making an official visit to Texas starting today, or starting in the midweek. And Coach, this is a recruitment that has schools from all over the country, 2 different conferences, but all over the country, in USC, Ohio State, LSU, Texas, all involved.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of like what Justin said, having a midweek visit, you kind of have one-on-one time. I think, Texas can kind of love up on him, love up on the parents, man. I think it'd be a good situation to have some one-on-one time, just with the defensive staff, and see the direction of the program and how they plan to use him, right? He's a big kid. He's a big corner, man. So you're going to play him in the boundary, you're going to play him in the field. He has the traits to play both. kind of see him playing kind of what Ryan Watts played, right? Don't know the tape they're going to show him to sell him, but it's a great opportunity for him to get down to Austin finally, man, and on the OV, and they can kind of love up on him. I know he's going to have a great time in Austin. Moving from Ohio, moving to Texas here, he's gotten kind of the Texas culture, instilled in him a little bit, but now he'll get the full on the rest of it put in, and so it'll be a great time. I can't wait to hear, how the visit went and talk to catch up with the parents afterwards.
6'0", just a bit over 6 foot, 202 pounds, like you mentioned, big corner, very much. He may not be the 6'3.5" like Ryan Watts was, but he's definitely thick and can move at that size. Has some
He's
great
a big kid, man, in person. He does not look like a corner in person.
parents, also both athletes. Mom
Yeah.
ran track at Ohio State. Dad was also a track runner, Olympic gold medalist in the 04 4x4, according to On3. So there's some athleticism in that family. One more midweek official visitor to talk about, and that's Nathan Tilmon from Mansfield Timberfield. Justin, this relationship just started a few weeks ago. I think we were trying to track down campers on campus when he got an offer, and he wasn't at UT at that time. But now Texas is getting him on campus, an SMU commit. We used to have like the Big 12 to American Conference battles when it was Austin versus Dallas for his Dallas kid. It's a little bit different. Now it's SEC versus ACC for an Austin versus Dallas battle. So where do you think Nathan Tilmon kind of fits into the picture here, and what's the latest in that recruitment?
I'm still not used to SMU joining the ACC. Like, that just hasn't fit in yet. It's weird. It'll stick at some point. Listen, the thing about Tilmon is I went to Timberview in the spring to go see Dylan battle, and I just so happened to bump in to Nathan Tilmon. And I sat there and talked to him for probably 10 or 15 minutes while I was waiting for Dylan. And I grabbed a picture with him, and he kind of talked about, look at my huddle, check this out. Not knowing Texas was going to put this guy on the big board and give him an offer on June 1st, but that's exactly what they did. I just think this is a recruitment where Texas is being thorough. They want to make sure if a Dijon Lee doesn't pop, if a Dorian Brew doesn't happen, they've got a guy in a Nathan Tilmon that can come in, and he's versatile. He's a guy that I think can play at different spots on the field in the secondary. I think he's a little underrated. He's really fast. He's got great feet, and he's got a real competitive edge. And I think that's something that Sark and those guys are endearing to. And so with Tilmon, I think it's going to be a little bit of a wait and see. We'll know pretty quickly where Texas stands. Similar to Ricky Stewart, former SMU commit. Once he was offered, we kind of had a good idea if he was going to stick to that. After this midweek deal, we'll talk to Tilmon. We'll figure out just exactly where he sits on the Texas big board. But I have to think that he's going to be the one that comes through and is blown away. Dijon and Dorian have probably seen similar things like this. Nathan hasn't done this before. And so I can't wait to talk to him, because I think Texas has a vision for that kid. I just don't know which pecking order he's in right now.
Had 26 tackles and a fumble recovery last year, and during the most recent track season, ran a 10.71 in the 100, a 22.49 in the 200, just outside win legal. And he was part of the Mansfield Timberview State Finalist 4x1 team that ran a 41.21. So there's some speed there. He's ranked as the number 863 overall prospect and number 63 safety. On3 is way higher. Has him as the number 27 safety and number 76 player in Texas. And
he's got some sneaky athleticism there. I wouldn't call it, twitchy necessarily, but he's always in the right place at the right time, and he doesn't take false steps.
Before we keep on going to some of the weekend official visitors, have to get a word in for Andre the Lawyer. Andre the Lawyer has been helping clients, and he will take on your case. Do not settle for what an insurance adjuster wants to pay you. If you're in a slip and fall, an on-the-job injury, any sort of 18-wheeler accident, wrongful death, call Andre the Lawyer, and he will fight for you. Everybody gets a personalized text message number so they can call the team, text the team whenever, and get the latest on their case. 214-444-8808, a Longhorn who is proud to help Texans from all over the state. Principal office in Dallas, but he will help you. 214-444-8808. 8808. Gentlemen, we keep on going. There's some other visitors in town, and they are this weekend. Namely, one of the big ones is Aidan Anding, a defensive back from Ruston, Louisiana, north part of Louisiana, someone Texas has been in a good position for some time, and coach, a player that inside Texas is gaining a lot of confidence in.
Yeah, definitely, man. First time I pop on his tape, he reminds me of a kid that used to go to TCU that Gary Patterson loves. Like he's very versatile, can play any position in secondary, but sure Texas
Wiry.
likes him at corner, and man, you can move him around, like play the slide. He can be a return guy. Like this kid does it all, and so I think things are trending the right way for Texas. Hopefully, man, he enjoys his visit. Coming in and like I say, a chance to have some one-on-one time himself, if not such a big group as the last few groups, but. I think it's a guy, Terry Joseph can kind of hit on being from Louisiana, like, hey, buddy, we're from the same neck of the woods, right? So you can kind of hit on that as a coach and talk to the parents. And I can't wait to catch up with him after his visit.
He's been on campus, I think, at least twice during the spring, once during the junior day, once for a practice. I think he's also officially visited Miami. And according to the On3 database, that's the only one he's taken so far. So Texas is putting themselves in a good position. Someone who's currently unranked by a few of the different services. But what you got, Justin?
Yeah, with Anding too, I understand, he is a tri-sport guy. Really good basketball player. I've been watching a little bit of stuff the last few days. Really good on the track. I caught up with him. There's going to be a story on Aidan Anding later today at Inside Texas. I caught up with him yesterday. He is really fired up about this trip. The thing about Anding too, though, LSU has started to come on of late. And that's the in-state school that nobody keeps in-state talent better in-state than LSU. But talking to a couple sources yesterday, Anding loves Texas. The fact that they were in early and set that foundation for that relationship, Terry Joseph deserves a ton of credit. I was told even if LSU comes in with an offer at this stage, he is still a Texas guy. He loves Texas. I feel like they are the clear leader in that recruitment. He's got a little brother who just picked up an Arkansas offer yesterday. His little brother is going to start stacking. Arkansas was in this recruitment as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see a few more offers go to little bro's way.
Coach, when you're looking at someone like Kade Phillips at Missouri City Hightower, same neck of the woods as commit Caleb Chester, but a little bit different position. What it seems like it's an in-state battle forming between Texas and Texas A&M. What can Texas do on this official visit weekend, and what do you see in Phillips as a prospect?
Just a guy with a lot of versatility and speed, right? Coming from that area, they definitely can run. I think Texas just has to show them a plan. Show them a plan how you plan to use them. I think a lot of kids just really want to know, how do you see me fitting in this defense, right? Show me and give me an example, a real life example of somebody who's currently on the team and the role I'll play. I think that's the biggest thing you can do for any kid, because then they feel like I have a place here when I get to campus. I know what my role is. Could it change? Could it expand? Sure, but at least having some foundation, having a foundation set of what my role may be coming into Texas, and then you get to play at Texas, one of the biggest stadiums, the biggest brands, all the other stuff. That's just icing on the cake, right? So just have a plan for him when he comes to visit, and I think that'll be key.
Texas has been in good standing with him for a while. Number 206 overall prospect in the country, and from an area that has not been super fruitful for Texas of late, but maybe this could be the start of something new. Last defensive back to talk about, and of course, head to Inside Texas because there are a lot more guys at other positions coming in this weekend that we will discuss on further videos this week. But Justin, Devin Williams, an Auburn commit out of Buford, Georgia. Typically a school that sends kids to Georgia, sends kids to Auburn, sends kids to Georgia Tech sometimes, but they don't typically trek super far from the Georgia area. At least the big name players do. Devin Williams is ranked as the number 220 prospect in the country, but Texas is going to get their shot at him and maybe see if another Buford guy can make their way to the 40 acres.
Look, Kade Phillips and Devin Williams are underrated, and they are well thought of, but just let that sink in. Those two guys will play at a high level in college over the next 3 or 4 years. I love both those guys. Phillips in Texas, I think, makes too much sense. Devin Williams, this was the one that Eric's been on, our guy over at Inside Texas. He's been on this one for a while. You talk about pound for pound. That some of those smaller DBs wind up being the dirtiest dogs. And that is what Devin Williams brings, man. He is scrappy. He is, I think every secondary room in college football needs one of his type of mentality because Devin can do that. Can they flip him from Auburn? That's going to be the big question. I think he's more open than he's let on. And this of all the guys, of all the DBs that we've discussed, this one's the most fascinating. This is the story that Texas can really turn the tide here with a big OV. And I think they got in a little bit late on it, but it doesn't seem to bother Devin. And I like that he's not really worried about the timetable there. He just wants to find the best possible spot in the future. Don't forget, Texas has got some buzz in that SEC region right now. They're going around. They just went to South Florida and pulled the number 2 quarterback in 2026. Like there's some momentum around that area, and it's palatable with a lot of those college teams. And so Devin, to me, is the biggest story because if you can get that guy to flip, you have added a dog in that 2025 secondary hall. And him and Kade Phillips, to me, that's a 1-2 punch back there that I think Texas fans would be excited to get.
One of the things that I'm kind of realizing when talking about these 6 guys that kind of applies to all of Texas recruiting is that their main competition in a lot of cases are SEC teams. When you think of Brew, LSU, of course, USC and Ohio State, so Big Ten teams. You think of Kade Phillips, Texas A&M. Think of Aidan. Miami's in there, but LSU's starting to sneak around. Like Dijon Lee's been looking at SEC teams, even despite being from California. Like Texas is recruiting against other SEC schools, and that tells you not only the pond they're fishing in, but some of the other fishermen on that pond and how good this class could be if it gets to a certain point with prospects. Gentlemen, thank y'all so much. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. Again, if you're on podcast, thank you for that. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Also, head to InsideTexas.com. You can use the promo code IT1. Get you 2 months of Inside Texas Plus access for just $1. June 18th. That means that'll get you to August 18th. And by then, you're getting team practice reports. You're getting scrimmage reports. Bring it on back. You're getting the end of July pool party intel. You're getting commitment intel. You're getting all the intel from this last official visit week, at least here in June. So
Intel Central.
It is where you want to be. We're inside Texas. What do you think that means? So, gentlemen, thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you to Andre the Lawyer. And thank you for watching the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.